After its recent redesign, the Ford Ranger has become a true force to be reckoned with. And the Toyota Tacoma and Chevy Colorado have finally gotten a mid-sized pickup truck rival that's a worthy opponent. With its conventional yet handsome exterior, solid powertrains, an approachable price, and phenomenal capability, the Ranger has truly become the small F-150, and things are sure to continue for the upcoming year as Ford keeps pushing forwards its mid-size pickup truck. Today we'll be explaining why that is, as we look at how the all-new 2025 Ford Ranger blows away the competition. Class-leading powertrains. One of the biggest virtues that the Ford Ranger has to offer over its competition is its engines. You see, most of its competition offers either a too impotent power plant option or a too unreliable or unproven engine. For example, the Toyota Tacoma has dropped its 3.5-liter V6 engine it was known for in favor of an all-new 2.4-liter Turbo 4, which is yet to show its true face. On the other hand, the Ranger has been equipped with a range of tried and tested power plants, which have been already used on various models. The entry-level engine is the 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine, the same one the Ford Mustang had been using for nigh on 10 years now. This engine has widely been regarded as one of Ford's best units ever, with an exceptional record for reliability and phenomenal performance. And how couldn't it? It offers 270 HP, making it exceptionally potent, especially for an entry-level engine. Also, it has around 310 pound-per-foot of torque, which is pretty impressive for a 2.3-liter four-banger. In addition to this, you can also option out the 2.7-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 engine, which is by far the torquiest and most capable engine in the lineup, and the only turbocharged V6 engine in the mid-size truck segment. In fact, apart from the Honda Ridgeline and the Nissan Frontier, this is the only V6 engine in the lineup as of current. This is the same engine as the one used in the Ford F-150 base models and the Ford Bronco's more potent versions, and, as one would expect, it has proven itself to be quite a reliable companion. Is it the best engine ever? No, but it's most certainly among the best in its lineup, with its proven track record, 315 HP and over 400 pound-per-foot of torque. But the creme de la creme is undoubtedly the 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6, used in the Ranger Raptor. It pushes out 405 HP and 430 pound-per-foot of torque, which gives it an edge over any other powertrain in terms of sheer performance in its segment. This model year also gets a PHEV version too, mated to the 2.3-liter engine. However, this powertrain is reserved for Europe and Asia and is still not available in the US, which is a terrible shame. All of this leads us to conclude that the Ranger offers phenomenal towing and payload capacity. There's no avoiding it. The Ford Ranger is amongst the most capable and most practical pickup trucks in its segment. First, it's by far the best value for money low down in terms of towing and payload capacity, as even the base model trim's 2.3-liter can tow up to 7,500 pounds. That's more than double of what the entry-level Chevy Colorado can tow, which is just 3,500 pounds. Now sure, once you equip the Colorado properly, you'll be able to tow 7,700 pounds, which is marginally more than the Ford Ranger, but will also ultimately set you back a hefty amount of money. In addition to this, the Toyota Tacoma can only tow up to 6,500 pounds, which is not only pathetic compared to the Ranger, but is also a downgrade compared to the previous generation. Now, the 2.7-liter V6 engine does not increase the towing capacity, unfortunately. However, it does not decrease it either. That means that a relatively posh Ranger Lariat, which is a more road-oriented and comfortable Ranger, can also tow a whopping 7,500 pounds. The Raptor does get a significant cut in this regard, however. This was to be expected, as it is a performance-oriented version of the truck, not a work-oriented one. Still, it can tow up to 5,500 pounds, which is still pretty good, and is the same as the range-topping Colorado ZR2 Bison, which is drastically less powerful and noticeably more expensive than it. When it comes down to payload capacity, the Ranger comes in second with 1,805 pounds of maximum towing capacity, being beaten out by the Colorado by just 30 pounds. All in all, the Ranger is undoubtedly a great contender in terms of practicality and capability, and you should shortlist it if you're looking for an actually capable mid-sized truck. A contemporary interior, When talking about the inside of the Ranger, you'd be very delighted to see it being quite the looker and quite unique compared to its peers. First of all, we love the fact that Ford didn't just stick the infotainment screen atop the dash, unlike the Tacoma and the Colorado and Canyon. This allows the interior to look more elegant and better thought out than the other two. In addition to that, the fact that it employs a vertical layout also allows it to look more unique and bespoke to the model, as well as being more practical than the horizontal layout, albeit that one can be debated. But what cannot be debated is the fact that the Ranger has a much better interior in terms of quality compared to its rivals, most notably the Chevy Colorado. There is far more soft-touch plastic, there's much nicer materials than on its rivals, and the whole interior just looks and feels like it was given much more thought. The fact that it utilizes both the infotainment screen as well as physical buttons is what we absolutely adore. Albeit we can't fault the other trucks in this regard too, as everybody's definitely trying to keep the customers content in terms of ergonomics. An unusually honest exterior. Apart from the interior, what we find very interesting about the Ford Ranger is how incredibly honest it is with its presentation. Let's be honest, looking at the Ranger, you certainly won't say that the truck looks intriguing. It doesn't, and honestly, we find that very poetic and also very unusual in this day and age. Just take a look at the competition. The Chevy Colorado has decided to take up a mantle of pure bravado with its increased ride height and angry face. So much so that we think it's compensating for the fact that it can only be equipped with a 4-banger. On the other hand, the Toyota Tacoma seems to try and make itself look more overland friendly and more rugged than its competitors, courtesy of those wide hips and flared wheel arches. But with its plastic panels and a relatively sophisticated suspension, it isn't fooling anyone. And then there's the Ranger. It isn't trying to be its older brother, the F-150. Oh no, it retains a slim, original, and even somewhat generic design that, ironically enough, allows it to stand out from the crowd, which is truly overcompensating. Its front end uses Ford's trademark C-shaped headlights that are neatly fitted to a relatively restrained front fascia, which allows it to be far less ostentatious. The sides of the truck are very simple, with no unnecessary creasing, bulging, and God knows what, allowing it a serious exterior look. Finally, the rear end is just the regular old truck bed, and frankly, we love it, as it just oozes the I've got nothing to prove vibe. Speaking of the truck bed, multiple bed sizes. One of the biggest trump cards of the Ford Ranger are its truck bed sizes. It comes standard with a 5-foot bed, which is the industry standard for this segment and is relatively uneventful. And it's not as practical as the Ridgeline's 5.5-foot bed, but it's more practical and user-friendly than the Colorado's bed, offering more space, making it a little bit easier to pack up things than GM's offering. In addition to that, the 6-foot bed is by far the biggest and most practical in this segment, beating out both the Tacoma and the Nissan Frontier, which are the only two trucks that offer a 6-foot bed. And if that wasn't enough, the Ford Ranger comes as standard with the crew cab, much unlike the other two, which means that ultimately, they're more expensive when equally equipped compared to the Blue Oval's offering. Pricing and trim levels. Since there are no changes compared to last year's model, the prices of the Ranger are more or less identical compared to the previous year's model, only adjusted for inflation. This means that the entry-level Ranger XL starts from just under $33,000. To be honest, the XL has everything you need, as it's loaded with equipment such as the reversing camera and a large infotainment screen, while also being quite approachable. So we would definitely tell you to go for it if money is a concern. If you got a few more bucks to spend though, the XLT might be a better pick, as it starts from just over $36,000 and offers a more premium interior, better exterior styling, nicer wheels and colors, and a better range of equipment. We're not so sure about the Lariat though, as even though it's pretty nice and well equipped, we'd argue that the GMC Canyon offers more for the same amount of money, seeing how it has a better interior, better towing capacity, and is generally a more premium truck. That said, it still lacks the V6 under its hood, which is why we wouldn't write it off just yet. As for the Raptor, what can we say? If you're looking for a performance-oriented midsize pickup truck, you simply have no other choice. The ZR2 is laughable due to its engine, and the rest of the pack doesn't even offer a real rival to it. That said, be ready to throw at least $56,000 at it.